Alright, so today we're going to talk about two different types of variables. We're going to have discrete variables and control variables. And as Thor is telling us down in the corner, if you don't understand your variables, you don't know what you're dealing with. It could be anything. Okay, so first off, let's look at our variables. You can have qualitative, so that's descriptive, or you can have quantitative, which is what ideally we're going to deal with. Now this actually comes down to, so quantitative can be split into two. You can have discrete or continuous. Now a discrete variable, data can only take certain individual values. There's no middle values that can't go in between, whereas continuous data can be anywhere within a range. For example, temperature, you can be anywhere within, if your thermometer says 0 to 110, it will measure any temperature in between those numbers. Time, again, it's a continuous thing. You can just break it down as to whatever divisions you want. Pages in a book, you can't have half a page. Not and keeping a thing. Shoe size here, which is a silly variable, but yeah, so they've got 5.5. There's no 5 1/4, no 5 1/3, etc. The number of people in a race. So this is actually realistic. So the time taken to run the race, yes. Number of races, number of people of races, all of these sorts of things. You can't have half a person in a race. You can't have half a race. Those are discrete. So certain individual values, any value within a range. So discrete variables. A discrete variable, they have separate categories. Only certain values are available. You can't have in between. And usually gives us bar graphs or histograms. And here we see. So we've got, here's our independent variable down the bottom. That's the thing we're changing, A, B. And our dependent variable, the ones we count, they go up the side. And a good example of this is the letter grades for this physics class. Now, if we just had percentages, yeah, you could have any, that would make a nice line sort of graph. But because we're just talking about the individual letters, you can't have in between. I mean, here you've got B, B minus, whatever, but you can't have in between those. Then we're stuck. Like that, we get a histogram out of it. You can't. That's a discrete variable. And a continuous variable, again, they vary on a continuum. They can exist anywhere within a set range, and they give us scatter plots or line graphs. So our independent variable goes along the bottom, and our dependent variable goes along the side, on the y-axis, and it gives us this sort of a graph, like this sort of this crazy ball, and there's our line of best fit. An example here is height and weight. So yes, they're related, they go up, and you can have anywhere within that range. And yeah, that's our two types of variables. So sweet, see you in class.